What's up, guys? Rob Brown here, FootBallOnline.com. It's Monday Night Football. Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles, as we see right here. Got a couple bets we're going to throw into the account, so see if we can't make some money here on Monday night. Guys, as always, everything we do, absolutely free, so go hit that subscribe button down below. Start off the season pretty well, so let's rock and roll all the way through the 2024 season here, shall we? We sit in 5.5 right now in favor of the Eagles. Now, this did come down because A.J. Brown ruled out for the Eagles tonight. This was a hamstring injury in practice, so it kind of came out of nowhere. If you're wondering, like, wait, where did this come from? I did not hear this. Yeah, it was a last-minute type deal here for A.J. Brown, and so he's going to be sitting for the Eagles in this one, so we are under the 6 now for the Eagles at 5.5. Last we saw these two teams, actually, let me go ahead and show you the total while we're at it as well, sitting 46.5. 46 seems to be the prevailing number there here in this one. So last time we saw these two teams, the Eagles were slipping and sliding their way to a victory down in Brazil. That field, awful conditions, but they were able to get it done. Saquon Barkley really took over in the second half, and this Eagles team looked really, really good. Full disclosure, heading into the season, I had the Eagles power ranked number 1 in the NFL. I really, really like what they have on the offensive side of the ball, and I think they went and addressed those deficiencies in the offseason they had on the defensive side of the ball. That being said, of course, the Eagles, one of the things you love about the Eagles is how multiple they are because of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and A.J. Brown ain't going to be out there, so we'll discuss that through. The last time we saw the Atlanta Falcons, they were looking like one of the bottom feeders in the NFL for whatever reason. Kirk Cousins looked really bad, looked really immobile with coming off of that injury that he had. Remember, the injury to Kirk Cousins was several weeks after the injury to Aaron Rodgers. Even though it was the same injury, it was several weeks after. So he has had less time to recover than Aaron Rodgers has from that Achilles injury. And he looked very out of sorts, very rusty, very immobile. Comes to find out afterwards, we're sitting there, they were tipping their plays like every single time they were in shotgun, they passed. Every single time they were in pistol, they ran. It was all kinds of weirdness from the Falcons there in week 1. Not going to penalize them off of the incredibly small sample size in just week 1. So we'll slow down, pump the brakes, and give them at least another week before I go, oh boy, maybe I was wrong about all that. If you saw any of the offseason content that I did, was loving the Falcons actually there in the NFC South. So we'll see what they can show us in week number 2. We got another article over here by Eli. It's going to be the first touchdown scorer. If you want to take a look at that, you can kind of see what these odds are from a first touchdown scorer perspective, as well as we look at this game in which, listen, I expect the Eagles, even without A.J. Brown, to still be able to look like the Eagles. Now, they went and traded for Jahan Dotson. He is certainly not A.J. Brown. But if you're talking about a guy that is a good fallback option when you have to go to a backup type situation for your 1 and 2, Jahan Dotson, a former first-round pick, is probably a decent way to go about all this. Devonta Smith would be a number 1 on at least 10 or 12 other teams in the NFL, if not more than that. And so what you're really doing is just elevating a guy that is a 1 into his true role anyway, with A.J. Brown being out. And so I will not say that this offense is going to look exactly the same without A.J. Brown. Of course, that would be foolish, but I don't expect them to look all out of sorts or anything like that. So especially with Saquon Barkley out there, I think that they find a way to get it done here in this one. Again, this is Eli's article. You can come and see what he likes for first touchdown scorer. He's got a 650 in there on Bijan Robinson and a 20-1 on Darnell Mooney. You can kind of read why he wants that to be in his account this week. So for me, when this thing fell under the 6 because of the A.J. Brown news, I played a small position on the Eagles at 5.5. Again, it all goes into, I have to stick at least a little bit to my priors. I had them number 1 team in the NFL. Maybe you didn't, and maybe you're like, yeah, I know this is too much, and that's fine. But we're talking you through the process as to why I went to where I went in all of this. And while it is a drop-off with A.J. Brown not out there, I don't think it's to the point where this Eagles team is going to look unfamiliar to you on the offensive side. I think with Smith, I think Dotson's coming in. Goddard is still out there. Saquon Barkley is still there. Still a very good offensive line. I don't think it's going to be one of those deals where, you know, your wide receiver goes out and then the game plan completely has to change and doesn't look the same. So I did play a little bit there on the Eagles. The other thing that I did here in this is going over into the receiving market. We'll just look at Caesars. Of course, shop around as always. We have a prop finder tool over on thelines.com. Be sure that you're getting the best number in all of this. But for me, receptions, Devontae Smith, over 5.5. You might be able to find a better than the juice at 129, but I think it's fine. He is now, like I said, the obvious number one in a game here tonight, but the Eagles still have enough weapons where it's not like the Falcons could come out and just blanket. Devontae Smith can just sit there and just, double team him left and right all over the place. And honestly, he runs every type of route there is anyway. And so even if that is the case, I expect Kellen Moore to be smart enough to figure out the way to get it in his playmaker's hands. And so for me, I'm taking the over 5.5 receptions here on Devontae Smith as he steps into his role as the one receiver tonight. Speaking of that two receiver there for the Eagles with the theme of, hey, step up, here's your role, here's your moment, right? John Dodson, it's only 28.5 yards, guys. He doesn't even really have to have that big of a role to get here. We're talking probably gets there with 2 catches, 3 catches. We're real close. And 4, we're over this number every single time. And so in a role that is got to be expanded for him because of the injury to A.J. Brown, we just are not asking very much. And now, is he their number 2 option? Probably not. It's probably Dallas Goedert. It probably goes Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. But even as the third option, we're asking for 29 yards. And I think that 29 yards isn't too much to ask for here from John Dodson. So going to go with that there as well. If you're looking for like anytime touchdown scorer, I really liked what I saw from Saquon Barkley. Now, the problem with all of that is it's just not, it's just not. It's a minus 200. So it's kind of one of those things where you put that into a same game parlay that tells the story of an Eagles win, right? As opposed to betting that just outright, because I really like the way they used Saquon. I really like the way that he looked in this offense. And again, he was doing that on a field where the conditions were absolutely terrible. Gets to come home, gets to do this on an actual real NFL field this week. And so really do like him to continue what we saw last week, but this is too juicy to bet on its own. So you're going to need to put that kind of in an Eagles win same game parlay scenario. So build something out like that tells that story. Remember, when you're building out your same game parlays, just to put correlated plays together. That's the whole beauty of the same game parlay thing. Don't tell a different story within the same parlay. You don't want, over 350 passing yards, over 3 passing touchdowns, 2 receivers over 100 yards, and then play the under as well, right? That doesn't tell the same story. So just be sure that you're telling the same story whenever you're putting those together. Again, for me, this is pretty cut and dry. I'm going to go with the priors until I have to get off the priors. I'm one of the guys that will get off of his priors probably sooner than most out there, but I'm not going to do that through 1 week. I have the Eagles as the number 1 team in the NFL. I'm going to continue on with that. We get this under 6 with a drop-off that I think is there, but not maybe as pronounced as maybe everybody thinks with A.J. Brown not being out there. So a little bit of a nugget there, not a full unit on the 5.5 there for the Eagles. And then those 2 props, the Jahan Dotson yards and the reception prop there for Devontae Smith. Anything else that I end up adding, you can find right up here. You see this is the Discord that we have at thelines.com. It's absolutely free. So it's not only my bets, but all the staff bets you can find over there as well if you go in and take a look. So be sure and make sure, if you don't agree with me, maybe you'll agree with somebody else that's over there. And so you can find some bets, and they're all free. So you might as well take advantage of it and see if there's anything that piques your interest over there with that one as well. Guys, let's go in. Let's continue on rocking and rolling here in the early part of the 2024 season. Good luck on all your Monday Night Football bets.